Oral questions. Questions orales. The honourable member for Saskatchewan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The job numbers are out, and they're bad. Failing Liberal policies have now caused a full-blown unemployment crisis. 7% unemployment overall. Ontario alone has shed 25,000 manufacturing jobs, and 1 in 5 students can't find a job this summer. So when will this government reverse their job-killing policies so that Canadians can get back to work?
Here.
Honourable Minister of Finance.
Madam Speaker, we have seen the job numbers, and I would say it's in large part to the trade war that we're facing with our neighbour to the south. But, Madam Speaker, Canadians, and I hear the Conservative will rejoice that later on today we will be tabling legislation, including a plan to build Canada strong, Madam Speaker. That's the type of thing. On this side of the House, they just ask questions. On this side of the House, we put plan forward to build Canada strong.
The honourable member for Sherwood Park for Saskatchewan.
Madam Speaker, the fact is unemployment has been steadily increasing under this government for 2 years. This week I spoke to Josh, a hard-working and experienced labourer in his late 30s. Josh has been unemployed for more than a year and has now put in over 1,000 applications. StatCan's numbers show that unemployed Canadians like Josh are searching longer and becoming more desperate. Now, by raising taxes, obstructing development, and letting immigration get out of control, Liberals are depriving people like Josh of the opportunities that they deserve. Will they change course so that Josh and others can get back to work?
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I think about Josh, his families, his community, and all the communities around the country which are affected by this trade war. That's why, Madam Speaker, we are going to table legislation later on today with a plan, because the way to address what's going on in Josh and his employment status is to build a plan. It's to build a plan to create opportunities, to build Canada strong, to build a confident Canada, a prosperous Canada. And I would want to salute the work of my colleague, the Minister of Transport and the Minister of One Canadian Economy. They have done great work, Madam Speaker, to build that one Canadian economy that will create.
Honourable member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Madam Speaker, if they had a plan, the typical way you'd put a plan before the House of Commons to address unemployment is in something called a budget. And yet we have no budget. Their response to terrible unemployment numbers is to blame others, blame external events, and to fail to present the House of Commons with a budget. They said a plan beats no plan. They have no plan. They have no budget. They have no plan to address out-of-control unemployment. They need to cut taxes, allow development, and control immigration. When will they change course so that people can get back to work?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Madam Speaker, indeed, this government has a plan. This plan will be tabled later today in the form of legislation that member and his colleagues will have a chance to support. A plan to build this country, a plan to collaborate with every premier in this country who has endorsed this plan, a plan to build major projects, a plan to get our economy on track, a plan to create opportunity for Canadians from coast to coast to coast. Will that member stand up and support our plan?
The honourable member for Moose Jaw, Lake Centre, Lanigan.
Madam Speaker, today we learned that Canada's unemployment rate has risen to 7%, the highest in a decade outside the pandemic. For students, this number is even higher at over 21%. Canada's youth are eager to start their career paths but are facing obstacles at every step. They want to have independence and not be a burden to their parents. For 10 years, the Liberals have been at the helm of our economy and things have only gone downhill. The Liberals have created this unemployment crisis. Do they have a real plan to fix it?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Yeah, that's what I said. Secretary of State.
Madam Speaker, we stand with the families that are impacted by unjust, unfair, and illegal tariffs to the south of us. We stand with those businesses. But, Madam Speaker, we're a government of action. We've just advanced legislation to cut taxes for 22 million Canadians. We're lowering the carbon tax, and we're lowering the taxes on first home buyers. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The honourable member for Montmorency-Charlevoix. Madam Speaker, the unemployment rate among young people in Quebec is 3 times higher than the general population. It's 17% instead of 5%, and summer job offers have dropped dramatically. Our young people just want to start working and saving a bit of money. When will the government finally table a budget so that our young people can budget their futures? The Honourable Minister of Finance. Madam Speaker, my colleague will have the opportunity later today to vote in favor of legislation that contains a plan to build a strong Canada, to build national projects so that Canada has the strongest economy in the G7, to make sure that people, and young people included, can prosper and have a future. The way to build a strong Canada is to have a plan and to take action. And that's precisely what we're going to do here on this side of the House. And Canadians will watch what the Conservatives are doing. Will they support us in building a strong Canada? The honourable member. Madam Speaker, once again, just words and no budget. Our young people want to take part in the workforce. They want to help build a future, but their unemployment rate is 3 times higher than that of the general population. StatsCan shows that there are 1.6 million unemployed people, and that's a 13.8% increase over last year. When will the government turn things around and stop turning their backs on our young people who just want to build a future for themselves? The Honourable Minister. Madam Speaker, what young people want to see is what the Conservatives are going to do today, because instead of just talking, they'll have an opportunity to do something to support young people all across Canada by supporting our legislation with an ambitious plan for Canada. The Prime Minister came up with an ambitious plan. He met with all the premiers. And Canada is more united than ever before. We're making efforts for our young people to build a strong economy for our communities and for our industries. Madam Speaker, will the Conservatives support our plan? The honourable member for Côte-Nord, Kamoashishak-Nitasan. Thank you, Madam Speaker. For 3 months now, aluminum and steel have been grappling with tariffs without any help from Ottawa. This week, the tariffs doubled, and that industry is at the heart of the economy in my riding. There has to be cash flow freed up for our industry to help them. There has to be wage subsidies. After 3 months of tariff wars, what does Ottawa have to offer? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We are not abandoning those industries. We, for example, met with the steel industry leaders yesterday. We talked about the importance of cash flow for industries like aluminum in Quebec and elsewhere in Canada. The Finance Minister has offered support. We have made adjustments to EI even before the election to ensure that workers get enough support. We will continue to work with the industry and with workers, and we are standing up to the U.S. The honourable member for Côte-Nord, Kawawashimak, Natasanen. Let's not forget EI, Madam Speaker, and what the Liberals did with forestry and softwood lumber. We're in a trade war with the Americans, and it's not just since Trump was elected, but since his first term in 2017. Our forestry industry has been dealing with American tariffs for years now. How many layoffs will it take before Ottawa does something? The Honourable Minister. Thank you for the question, Madam Speaker. The softwood lumber industry is very important to Canada and very important to the regions of Canada. And that's one of the reasons why I would be very happy to see the support of all members in this place for our legislation on around our plan to build a strong Canada. We want to build Canada. We need softwood to build our future as a country, and that's why everyone here should support our legislation. The honourable member for Beauharnois, Salaberry, Soulanges, Huntingdon. Madam Speaker, while the attack by Donald Trump on our economy is getting worse, we need guaranteed access to cash flow. We need a wage subsidy to help workers so that employers can retain their workforce. All we're asking for is something a little bit sooner rather than just promises. We need proactive action, not reactive. What are they waiting for? The Honourable Government House Leader. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Like the Conservative caucus, the Bloc will have a golden opportunity very soon to support the Government of Quebec and all provincial and territorial governments all across the country, business people and unions too, and above all, people who are concerned about opportunities. When you're building a country and when you're standing up to Donald Trump and the U.S., we're going to do that by building major national projects all across this country. So the Bloc will have the opportunity later this afternoon to concretely support our plan.